Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing The Two Doctors with Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton. Now I'll talk about part 3 and then I'll cover the story as a whole, since I've talked about part 1 and 2 already. Part 3 is the weakest for me, and I'd always liked this story, but it wasn't my favorite multi-doctor story. Part of it, I think, is the whole second Doctor being turned into the angiogram. I think that's kind of silly. And it is treated for comedic purposes. And don't get me wrong, there are parts of it that are funny. I do like the fact that Troughton seems to be having a lot of fun playing that version of the second Doctor. Like when he first wakes up and he's talking about the food, and then he's just like, why am I talking about food? I love the way Troughton delivers that line. And then him and the guy playing Shockey are doing a really good job together when they're being kind of buddy-buddy. I like when they're kind of sitting at the water fountain talking. That's pretty funny. And then in the restaurant, when she's reading off the list of everything they've eaten. Like I said, I don't agree that they did it. It has its moments where it's funny. Part of it is ruined for me because the death scene of the waiter is so silly and over the top. Him getting stabbed is unnecessary, and his death scene of quoting Hamlet it's the weakest part of the whole story for me. I'm always like, Colin's acting there when he realizes the stab wound's fatal, and he just kind of backs off because he realizes there's nothing he can do. That's good acting on Colin's part. But just the death scene is so campy, and it really pulls me out of the story. I didn't like it. You know, I can't see you. Are you there? I was just like, if there's one moment that pulls me out of the story, it's that. And I do like, though, when the Doctor converts back to being the Doctor and Colin's like, can you walk? Well, of course I can walk. And then he starts to stand up. Colin has to help him stand up. I like how Jamie takes the initiative by stabbing the Sontaran with the knife so they can get away. I like how the Sontarans and the Jacqueline Pierce character are both planning to stab each other in the backs and betray each other. I enjoy that. And how she uses like the nitrous oxide gas to kill one of them and almost the other one. And then he accidentally blows himself up with his ship. I think they should have just killed him off when he tried to use the time thing, but instead it just hurts him even more. Seems like they're padding out the episode by having him go back to his ship and blow his ship up. Of course, that's one way to make sure the ship's not still there for somebody to stumble on. The story feels too long. I mean, it's a Robert Holmes script. It's a good script. I like it. It's not Robert Holmes' best, but it is a good script and has a lot of his humorous moments that he tends to put into his scripts in it as well, which I like. I am happy to see us get more of Troughton in it. I like at the end when he has the little recall thing and he does the little whistle. It's a pretty famous shot, I think, of him doing the whistle to call his TARDIS. And how Colin's Doctor's all jealous. I've always wanted one of those. Well, some of us have earned this, you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, wasn't he mad at the beginning of the story that the Time Lords had put in that thing? You'd think I'd never flown a TARDIS solo! So he was mad about it then, but now he's kind of rubbing it in Six's face that he has it. Yeah. I enjoy that. It's odd, because you think the second Doctor would be one of the easiest ones to get along with, but the second Doctor seems to be the most antagonistic toward other Doctors of any of them. I mean, he likes one and gets along with one really well, but he doesn't get along with 3. He doesn't get along that well with 5, really. He doesn't get along with 6. The second Doctor just doesn't seem to get along with other Doctors, which I always find interesting. And surprising, actually. But very interesting. And I like what he tells him right there at the end of Colin. It's like, just do me a favor and stay out of my way in my future and my past as a good fellow. The universe should be just big enough for both of us. Just. I enjoy that. I really like that. Yeah, the highlight of the story is definitely the second Doctor and Jamie, because I love the second Doctor and Jamie, and they're both so good in these roles. As somebody mentioned in the making of, it's like, you know, somebody just took them out of the cupboard and dusted them off and they were ready to go. I really enjoy how well they slipped into their characters. I love those first few minutes of part 1 where it's basically a second Doctor story right there at the intro with him and Jamie. I love that. The first, part one is easily my favorite part, and then it just kind of progressively goes downhill from there. But I still like the story. I very much enjoyed the story more than any other watch through. I like the character of Shockeye a lot more. I like how the doctor stopped him with the net and the cyanide. That was pretty cool. I enjoy seeing Colin without his jacket running around in Spain. I like some of the location work. I don't really care when they're at the actual, I guess, hacienda or whatever it is they're at, the little main area. I don't really care for it. But when they're doing the scenes in part 3 in the town, I really liked that location work. That looked really good. I like that when they're both trying to locate Shockey and the second doctor. The music. I talked about this in my review for part 2. I love the incidental music for this story. It's so good, especially that Sontaran theme that doom 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 doom. Man, that's been like running through my head the past couple days. It's so good. That needs to be the Sontaran theme. They need to bring that back for the modern series. I love that theme. It just gets me invested and my blood gets pumping. I'm like, stuff's about to happen. Yes! You know, they're playing it right there in part 1 when the Sontarans invade the station. And I love that scene. It's really good. It's interesting watching Troughton steal the show. Troughton always steals the show. If Troughton shows up in a multi-doctor story, he's stealing the show. It's just a thing that happens. But Frasier is great as Jamie. He shows up Perry even to me. But I really like the relationship between Six and Jamie, because Six and Jamie get on really well too, and I really enjoy that. And I love some of the humorous bits that Holmes slips in, like in part 2 when the Sixth Doctor's talking to Jamie. It's simple. I was him, he will be me. And Jamie's just like, who will I be? And the bit about the rickety ladder. You're going to say rickety ladder, Doctor? I enjoy that. And the bit when Jamie first changes clothes in the TARDIS. Ah, you look nice with a bath and a new outfit. You should do it more often. Thanks. What? I like little moments like that. Jacqueline Pierce is great playing, I forget her character's name, but Jocasta or whatever. She's good in that. I know she's more famous with Blake Seven, and I have very vague memories of Blake Seven. But she does a really good job there. The guy playing the scientist that augmented her, he does a really good job. I like that scene in part 3 when she sees the blood and she just can't stop herself from, putting her hand on it and licking the blood off, because that is her nature. No matter how smart she's been made and how much she wants to escape that, her nature is still that primitive bloodlust type. And that's when the scientist that augmented her realizes, that he's failed to do what he tried to do, that she's really still just that animal. So he actually turns back to the Doctor's side and refuses to kill him. I like the 2 Doctors. It's good. It's not the best. It's not as good as 3 Doctors or 5 Doctors. Or it's on the low end of the multi-Doctor stories, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed this watch through more than I had previous watch throughs. It'd been a while since I watched it, and I've really grown to be fond of Troughton and Jamie a lot more than I was the last time I watched it, having seen a lot more of their stuff, especially with more of it being animated. Plus, I have a huge respect for Bob Holmes, and I really like who directed this one? Was it Peter Moffat that did this one? I think Peter Moffat did this one. He's a pretty good director. Matter of fact, he's even in a scene, I remember. Well, right when they're walking in a restaurant, you can see him sitting at a table. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I enjoy the 2 Doctors. I'd like to know what you think of the 2 Doctors. So comment down below and let me know. I also, I'm losing my train of thought today. So comment down below, because I always enjoy hearing from you guys. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. There's a link to that in the description below. I have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me. And I even have an Amazon wish list that I update regularly. There's a link to that down in the description below. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.